Media. As consumers, we are bombarded by it at every turn, like the Incredible Hulk being bombarded by gamma rays. But what makes some media endure, while others are banished to the forgotten black hole of obscurity, never to be heard from again? Who or what decides this? Hetero life mates Steve and Yahel want to know, and they want to know now. This is Obscurity Now. Yahel, how you doing?
Doing good. Is this the actual podcast, or are we just doing another test?
Oh, this is the real deal, baby. Real deal. I've got a little problem. I was looking around in what were those books that have maps in them called? Like a topograph.
Maps?
Yeah, no, a map book. It's like, it's got a name. I don't know, but I was looking around. I was trying to find where exactly Slam City was, but I didn't have any luck. You think you could help me out?
It's located in the recesses of Scottie Pippen's imagination, I assume.
Somewhere around mile marker like 1993.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Obscurity Now. My name is Steve, and with me is my co-host,
Yahel. How are you doing, Steve?
Oh, I'm doing great. We're sponsored by Mike's Hard Lemonade now. When you want to remember being an elementary school student and then also get drunk at the same time, it's Mike's Hard Lemonade.
What a ringing endorsement. Well, I am feeling smooth like butter, nasty.
Fingers. Look, I've got them too. I mean,
oh, wow.
How do you earn that nickname? You know what? I don't even want to know. I don't want to know.
Oh, they explain it.
Do they? Do they?
Kind of.
Well, I mean, I've got the back of the box here that tells you about all the great players of. You know what? Let's back up a little bit. People might be a little bit confused about what exactly Slam City is. And no, it's not a delightful small town in the Midwest. It is a sports game. Let me get my notes here.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was an FMV game, in fact. And it's the first sports game that we're covering. Isn't that special?
Yeah, the first of, I'm sure, many.
I don't think so. Sorry. See, I'm glad you brought up sports, or maybe I brought them up. What do you think of non-pro wrestling sports?
Well, Steve, I'm not into them. I think they're for losers. I get why people are into. I mean, I like watching hockey in person. Mm-hmm. I've had like fun at like a hockey game live.
Right.
But I don't know. I actually, although in the 90s, when this game came out in 94, I was into basketball.
Me too.
Or at least I think I was. I don't know. It's like something like all the kids, everybody was into. So I don't know if I really was into it or whatever, but yeah, and I was a big Chicago Bulls fan, as I believe 90% of the country was at the time.
Oh, not me. I hated the Bulls because they won every time. But I mean, and also my dad raised me to be a Boston Celtics fan.
Wow.
And I do have fond memories of before, I decided that real sports really had no bearing on my life. Of like watching classic Boston Celtics matches.
Well, if Larry Bird was really good, he would have had his own FMV game.
Remember when Larry Bird and Michael Jordan locked up in the center of the court and one of them gave the other a suplex? I mean, that was just classic stuff.
Yeah.
That was a
classic basketball.
Suplex City. And see? Not Slam City, Suplex City.
Anyway, Steve, so this game that we're covering...
What? I'm a dad. What, you don't like my dad jokes?
No, Steve.
All right, me either. Okay, so anyway, on to some facts here about Slam City with Scottie Pippen. It was released November of 1994 on the Sega CD, the 32X, but you had to have like both of them in order to play it. Is that correct?
Yeah. It was one of the few 32X CD games. There weren't a lot of them, and they just had generally more colors, basically, and less dithering.
Right. Oh, dither you. I don't know why I said that.
My God, Steve. What is happening with you today?
Well, my computer is dying, and so is my sanity.
I mean, Steve, some of these insults that you're lobbing out, these jokes, might have been just bad enough to get onto the Slam City screenplay.
Are you saying I have a chance to work with the Tom Zito, executive producer of Slam City, among other classic FMV games for the Sega CD?
I mean, I'm just saying, Steve, you're right up there with the man that wrote the line of "I'm going to drink you like milk." That's what the basketball opponent says to you before you begin your. I almost said match to your basketball game. Juice says that I'm gonna drink you like milk.
Right.
What?
Before we get too far into it, what is your favorite? Or a couple of favorite sports video games, non-wrestling or fight-oriented?
Well, growing up, I really liked NBA Live 95, I think it was, on the Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
I like Blitz a lot. In fact, I still play Blitz to this day. Like sometimes when I stream with my buddy, we will play the Dreamcast version together over the power of the internet.
Whoa,
parsec, but
never heard of it. No, I like I like the more arcadey, over the top ones. I like NBA Jam. I love nothing's better than busting out with a boom shakalaka in 2021 because people still know it. And of course, probably the best football game I've ever played, Mutant League Football.
That's good. Which is a lot like NFL Blitz,
right? I could see that Blitz is, or maybe more of the NBA Jam of football.
Yeah, I mean, the newest version of Mutant League Football is a lot like Blitz, basically.
Oh, is it? You mean Mutant Football League?
Mutant Football League. Sorry, I always mix them up. But it's on Steam. I played it not too long ago, and Tim Kitzrow, the guy that did the voice from NBA Jam, he's doing voiceover work for them.
Nice. Did
I tell you I drank with him?
You did not. No.
At a convention, ended up drinking with him, and I got some voice. I have him introducing me recorded. In his voice, going wrestling with gaming.
Oh,
I use on my stream sometimes.
That's awesome. Did he dither you? Got him. I'll take that as a yes. All right, moving on. Okay, so it was also on MS-DOS. If you wanted to play it on MS-DOS. Produced by...
if you're Bill Gates.
Yeah, produced by Digital Pictures and the following people. None of them have interesting names, and I don't know. If they're interesting, you can chime in. Some dude named Tyler Johnson was executive producer, as well as Sherry Little. She's actually quite large, I've heard. Jonathan Wells, Kevin Welsh, and Gordon Wolf. He's hungry, like a something.
God, I know we had some technical issues before we got started, but I think they may have driven you insane.
Possibly. And this is important. Music by John Baker and some person named Jelly Bean Benitez.
Jelly Bean Benitez was actually a somewhat well-known producer at the time, from what I understand.
I figured. And of course, we should throw in that Scottie Pippen, the number 2 man in all of basketball, he did his own rapping in the opening theme, which we're going to hear in a little bit. And the cinematography here was done by one Stanley Kubrick. No, that's not true. It's Paul McElvain. I'm sure he never worked in the business again. A
lot of these people, on the production side, basically worked on other Digital Pictures motion video games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I figured.
And that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Then they never worked in this town again. All right. Did you have their
family? They were killed by their own families most of the time.
Wow, someone's making it dark.
No.
And also directed by Ron Stein, Ben Stein's brother. You know, the Clear Eyes guy. That's not true.
Really?
Nope.
That's not true either. Okay, good.
And
no real information on this podcast.
No. Just funny. Well, attempts at humor. That's all. And writing credits, and there's just one. Don Scott is responsible for this Shakespearean style screenplay. Would you like to take the cast, Yahel?
Sure. Not a large cast. Scottie Pippen, of course, is himself. Keith Gibbs is Ace, which is who you play as. You're the basketball player named Ace. Real lame. Then we've got Malcolm Ian Cross as Fingers.
He dithers people with them.
Yeah. They should have had a character called Dither.
Yeah, but obviously he didn't work on this game because there was very little dithering at all.
No, what do you mean? There was a ton of dithering.
I don't think I know what dithering actually means. Anyway.
Well, you know that grainy look of Sega CD because it can only display so many colors at once, so it dithers the colors. Okay, so anyways, back to the cast. Keith Newbert as the highlight, in my opinion, of the game, Mad Dog.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he was pretty awesome. Dana Wilkerson, that is Juice. She is the one that says she's going to drink you like milk. And Thwan Nance as Smash. Basically, a bunch of people you've never heard of. There's a few more people. Cyrus Farmer as Smooth, who I don't even think that they call him Smooth in the game, but he's named. There's a guy, Abdul. This guy actually has a pretty good IMDb list, a pretty large list of IMDb credits. Abdul Salam Al-Razak. He's got 40 credits. He was recently in Grey's Anatomy a couple years ago.
Good for him.
So he's still doing stuff. He was on Becker. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember that show.
He was in Malcolm X. He was on a show called Generations, not to be confused with Star Trek: The Next Generation. Just kidding. He was in an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation, the first season, as a bass player in the background of one scene on the holodeck.
Wow. Well, I would love. Let me try to play the bumper here for you.
No, don't worry about it, Steve.
All right.
He doesn't deserve it. He's on TNG for like 30 seconds.
Well, I mean, he did play the bass though on Star Trek. That's pretty impressive, in my book at least.
Yeah, I had to go real deep for a Star Trek connection this time. But and that's pretty much the cast. And that guy plays G-Man, who is the guy at the end that is like, hey, I've got a contract for you and 10 million pairs of Nikes. But I guess we can dive into the game, Steve.
Yes, I suppose we can.
Welcome to your feature presentation.
And here we are at the Obscuritron, and what we're going to do here, this is a little different than what we normally do here at Obscurity now, where Yahel and I basically give the good and the bad of a piece of media. We're actually, since we can watch this and not get any copyright strikes or claims against us, we're all going to watch it together and pick out some hilarious moments, and then at the end, we'll decide if this should be remembered till the end of time or tossed into the vat of obscurity. Let me see if I can get this thing to work. Oh, there it is. All right, fantastic. This is actually from the World of Long Plays, if you'd like to watch the entire video yourself, which is a great YouTube channel of just people playing video games all the way from the beginning to the very end.
Yeah. This is the titular theme song we were talking about that Scottie Pippen raps.
You know, I don't know, it's not terrible. It's typical.
No, it's very 1994 harmless. And honestly, I'm not the biggest rap fan in the world, but Scottie's serviceable,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Well, anyone can do it. Maybe.
Yeah. Can you talk? Maybe you can be a rapper.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I don't. I've never been too impressed by it.
But it's funny. I just wonder if Scottie Pippen is very, milk toast, and I just think it would be funny if he like got his like rap album. He was just like, yeah, fuck everything, kill the cops, yeah. I'm like, what, Scottie, please, no.
Yeah, the closest that this song comes to that is there's like a verse, some bars, Steve, that say, if you're committing to hard hitting, good riddance, because ain't nobody taking stick from Scottie Pippen.
Stick?
Nope.
What is...
I don't know. I feel like whoever wrote the song and all the dialogue has never been in a situation where there's actual aggression involved.
Oh, no. This whole thing was probably like, the screenplay writer, Mr. Ben Stein or whatever he was. Oh, God. Like, that's highly embarrassing for everyone involved, I'll say. The dancing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure these guys have never played a game of street ball in their entire life.
Yeah.
I've probably played more than they have. Looks like we got some people in the chat. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
I was going to say, looks like we got some people in the chat here. Gabriel Canis? I can't. It's so small.
Caviness.
Yeah. He says, Slam City with Scottie Pippen. Now there's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah, so first we have Fingers, who I feel like out of all of the people that you play against, and even the woman that like they do these cutscenes to, like the crowd that's watching reacting to you play, there's like a blonde who I guess is like your love interest.
Yeah, that is so. I love how you have to play to win her affections, because I can't remember telling you how many meaningful relationships I've had because I won them over in a game of one-on-one.
Well, Steve, I mean, the harder you go in the paint, the harder you go in the bedroom, and the ladies know that.
I thought you were going to say the harder you go in the paint, the harder you go in the taint, which sounds... That doesn't work at all.
I mean, yeah, no, that doesn't work. But anyways, so Fingers is like oddly sexual in some of the things that he says. Like when he's like, all right, you ready for some? Come get some.
There's the man right there.
Mad Dog is amazing in this. It's like he's the only one aware that this is just some stupid hammy stuff.
Sure.
And he just like freaking goes for it.
He acts like I feel like a wrestler, a WWF wrestler from the 90s. And I love that. Because he's posing for pictures.
Yeah, Fingers. By the way, did you notice that in this game, like there's a lot of, and I know you played it too yourself, a lot of shot clock violations?
Yeah. I have to say, like, okay. Well, I guess we can get to the ratings a little bit later and still just enjoy the hamminess of it all. But yeah, I mean, just in the very beginning, when they're going through like the cast of characters and they go up to Fingers and he just goes, Fingers, for no reason. Like, I mean, has a guy ever done that to you while playing basketball? I mean, that never happened to me.
Just in the ring, brother.
But see, that makes sense.
I did see in the chat, Stika said, oh God, these games were unplayable. How dare you? I'm a big fan of the Tom Zito FMV games, such as, actually Night Trap is probably the one I like the least, but like Corpse Killer, this one, Supreme Warrior,
I forget.
Quarterback Club. They did a football game. They did an FMV football game.
Wow. That's awesome.
And Mad Dog is in it too.
Nice, man. He was really working for a while there.
Yeah.
So yeah, my question for you, I meant to ask earlier, but what do you remember the first FMV game you ever saw/played, and maybe the first one you ever owned?
Yeah, the first one I played and owned was Mega Race on the PC. It came with my 486 computer, my first computer, so I remember it really well. I had been, at that point they had like been in magazines and like, I don't know, I remember it was like the screenshots, like look cool, 'cause it was like real graphics,
Right.
but then you would get the games, and sometimes they wouldn't be that great.
Right, and that's okay. So the first FMV game that I ever owned, I could say, because like I'm sure you remember, I'm quite the fan of Devo, and in the '90s, like they released a CD-ROM game called The Adventures of the Smart Patrol, which of course is like this insane, like whacked out, this Devo like FMV point and click adventure. And it was just so hard to like figure out anything. And then when you would get to like an FM, I remember there was you had to play some weird game that they invented. And basically you just had to like click in the right space at the right time, and then you would get a goal. And that's how I kind of feel about this. Like, as far as...
I was just going to say that, yeah.
I'm like, because I just played this for the first time last night. Like, I don't even remember this one on the Sega CD from back in the day, but, you know, I wasn't really interested in sports games in the slightest back then. Yeah, I mean, and as I was playing...
Did you...
What's up?
Did you read the 7-page instruction manual before you played?
I did not.
Okay. So I don't know if that's truly fair to the game. You know, I'm deducting 100,000 respect points.
Oh man, the sound of the respect clock is so annoying. It sounds like clattering bones, like there's a skeleton or something that comes up on the court.
And for those that haven't had the pleasure of playing this game, the respect clock, you can see the tally there in the center, the lower center of the video here that's playing. And basically, the goal is you want to go through these 4 basketball opponents. And once you get up to 1 billion respect points, 1 fucking billion. Who came up? What a weird amount. Anyways, and you get respect points by like scoring, beating your opponents, things like that. But once you get to 1 billion respect points, then you can face Scottie Pippen. And the weird thing about this is that you don't need to... yes, Stika, the pleasure. The weird thing about this game, or I guess it's kind of cool, is like it comes on 4 discs, okay? And each disc has one of the players on it, basically, like the data for the player. But every disc also has Scottie Pippen segments on there. Mm-hmm. And if you want to, you can just play. You can beat the game by just with 1 disc. You can just keep playing the same fingers all over, you know, or whatever,
right?
Until you get to 1 billion points, and then do the boss battle against Scottie Pippen.
Do you think does he throw a Hadouken or fireball or anything like that?
Scottie Pippen?
Yeah.
He doesn't have the personality
to. He just
Scottie Pippen.
After he beats you, he just like gives you a diss rap. Or wait, no, it's not called a diss rap. It's called a... What is it called? You're like a rap guy,
diss
right?
Track?
Diss track. That's it. I'm so white.
Yeah. But the game, like... So basically the way it plays out is, if I remember right, you can set how many points the each game one-on-one game will go up to, but it plays a lot like Supreme Warrior. If you've ever played that, you're in the foreground there in front of a video basically of whatever your opponent's doing. Mm-hmm. I didn't replay the game for this, but from what I remember, like there's specific ways to block, there's specific ways to try to steal, and you have to basically do it when your opponent is doing a certain thing on the video. That's why you'll see, even though there's like multiple different videos of your opponent dribbling the basketball, they always kind of make the same movements. Anyways, so successfully, shooting or successfully putting in the input to steal will trigger the video to cut to that happening.
Right. I just, I mean, of course, like, I praise all these FMV games for their innovation at the time, but still, it's so weird. Like, if you cut left or drive to like the left side of the court, it's like you can't go back around. You're like stuck there.
Yeah, just like in real basketball.
Exactly. This game is for people who want to experience street ball but are just too afraid to actually go out and try it themselves.
Well, I will say, like, the game, I feel like it controls better than Supreme Warrior, but they're both similar, where you have to like kind of be very precise about what you're doing. I feel like this one's a little more forgiving. Like Supreme Warrior, I don't know if you've ever played, but it's the fighting game.
Right.
Like
I've never
they're
had
Mortal
the
Kombat. Basically.
pleasure. Yeah.
But it's like this, and except your opponent, it's video of them like trying to hit you on the left side or the right side, so you have to like block specifically to that side or whatever. You can only hit them when they've got their hands open, that kind of stuff. So you have to be very precise.
Sure.
And it's more like a kung fu, like an old school kung fu movie. But what did you think about this set that they built?
Oh, I mean, it looks like the set of. Do you remember that Nickelodeon show Roundhouse?
I loved Roundhouse. Yes,
Me too. Yeah, I was like, yeah, this was after they were done here. Roundhouse came in and did some more roundhousing. But
yeah,
I mean,
Roundhouse theme song is a lot better than the theme song for this game.
Right. Oh, and yeah, speaking of the music, all right, so, it opens up with that Scottie Pippen rap that, sounds pretty cool. It's obviously like CD stereo quality. And then we get Toe Jam and Earl for the rest of the game, which, I mean, I'm okay with. I love Toe Jam and Earl. It's just kind of a, I don't know, bait and switch.
Weird choice.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Toe Jam and Earl is funky. They want to try to have funkiness. The Sega Genesis sound chip is very nostalgic for me, and I think that this music is actually okay. But since this is a Sega CD game, did they just not have room for the CD quality soundtrack during the FMV sequences? I mean, it's just
I can't imagine that. I think they're using my guess, because it has that distinctive Sega Genesis sound. But they're running the music through using the regular sound chip on the Genesis console
to save room.
Why? Yeah, I think part of it too, Steve, that throughout the game, your opponents will talk to you while they're dribbling, and that's just dubbed in. So I think the CD audio track is being used for that, for whenever Scottie Pippen's dribbling in front of you, he says "come on" or whatever. So I think that's why, because that channel was being used for that, and then they're using the regular Sega CD or Sega Genesis FM channel sound chip for the music.
Are we still on fingers?
But that's my guess.
Let's
Yeah, we're gonna stick around here a little bit.
Sorry, I drank my Mike's Hard Lemonade too fast because I'm just so street.
You just can't hang.
Right. I'm gonna drink you like a Mike's Hard Lemonade. Not very well. Here, we'll watch. Look, did you see this guy? He's picking his ear at the end of the.
Yeah, I have him in my notes. Isn't this Smash? You play him later?
Well, this is the end of like butter, baby. I wish.
Yeah, it's so weird. He just digs in his ear, and then he's just amazed at the amount of wax he pulled out. What? Why?
Yeah, I'm sure the director was just oh man, that'll be so street if you just dig in your ear a little bit.
It definitely feels so street. It definitely feels like something that they just threw in at the last second on set.
Well, I will say that I'm sure this was a blast to shoot. I mean, it seems like everyone's having a great time.
Yeah, except for maybe the people playing it at home.
Well,
but the people making it.
Yeah. So yeah, here's the man here, Mad Dog. Not to be confused with Mad Dog McCree, although it would be funny if he played both roles. Man, that shot there where you have to do the rebound, just feels so wonky, to use, for lack of a better term. Oh man.
This guy Mad Dog has some great lines though. He's a classic meathead, lunkhead type.
Sure.
He really leans into it. He has this line where he says, "I'm gonna do you like I do my homework, quick." and that's a Mad Dog. That's kind of one of his trademarks, where he'll say something stupid and the last word he just yells it.
Right.
Like when he says, "When I'm done, you'll call me daddy, sir, please," and I'll be like, "No."
Then he dithers you.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But But yeah, and then like when whenever Fingers gets a shot clock violation, and they cut to him and Juice like hanging out, and she's like, oh well, you already talked about it when she says that comment about how he's like always taking too long with the ball, and he's like, "This goes he's posing for pitches."
I love in the back of the box, which I'm unable to access at the moment, for Mad Dog here, the last bit for his bio or whatever is white men can jump,
which he says during the game too, like if he dunks.
Right.
Like I think he says like a really long version of it, like while hanging off the rim, where he's like, "Whoa, who said that white men can't jump?" Like it's like a whole sentence.
Right.
And he's just hanging
That's
there.
like all I remember about the early 90s is that white men can't jump. That's it. Nothing else.
I've never seen that movie.
It's good.
But I'll tell you something funny. So it's a Spike Lee movie, or as Spike Lee calls them, a Spike Lee joint. And I'm pretty sure in one of these Digital Pictures games, which is the company that made this game, you know, they always start off like a movie with the credits. And Tom Zito, the guy behind Digital Pictures, the brainchild, he'll always have his name in the opening credits. You know, it'll say like something by Tom Zito. One of them says, and I can't remember which one says, a joint, a Tom Zito joint, which I think is just ridiculous.
That's funny. That's great. He was really propping himself up to be something there.
Yeah. Tom Zito, like, man, I remember he has an interview that he did in like Edge magazine in the 90s, and it was like towards the end of the FMV era. Like I think at this point we were already on the Saturn, which has some of the Digital Pictures games on it. But basically, like the guy interviewing him is kind of a dick about it, and like kind of just ask some like, aren't you afraid your company's going to go out of business because nobody likes FMV? Like questions like that, where it's like, what are you doing, you know? So then like he's real defensive. So it's like this really crazy, weird interview where he's like talking about how FMV is still the future. And this other guy's like, yeah, but isn't your wife going to leave you because you think that? I mean, that's an actual question.
Right.
You know,
I gotcha.
Stuff like that. But
that's like
the last
I'm sorry,
Digital Pictures video. Oh, so sorry. Last thing, I know a lot. I know too much about Tom Zito and Digital Pictures. Like Tom Zito likes taking pictures of nude women and putting them on his website and calling them art.
Sure.
Whatever. That's what he does. But the last game Digital Pictures made never got released, but there was like a playable demo of it, and it's really cool. It's still FMV, but it's like an FMV first-person shooter kind of, with Yasmin Bleeth, and they came up with a technology where you could like move your character within the video and have some depth, and you could like go and hide behind stuff. So like it was actually like it looked like maybe an innovative title, but they ended up going out of business before it actually got released.
That's too bad. Yeah, I was thinking back to like the first time I ever saw like FMV, and I want to say it might be like Dragon's Lair in the arcade, but even before that, I remember I went over to this kid's house, like, I don't know, when I was like 7 or 8, and he had this system, and you put VHS tapes in it, and then you shoot like the live action video. Do you happen to know what system that is by any chance?
There's a few. There's a bunch of those actually. And some of them were only for one game.
Well, I remember he had a couple.
But here's the kicker. Yeah, I can't think of any other names, but there's a bunch of those systems. But the kicker is like most of those systems, Steve, they came with like some kind of player too, sometimes as part of it, and you didn't need. You could basically play almost all of those on a regular VHS player.
So it's not real FMV, right? Like it wouldn't be considered real FMV.
Well, I mean, it's not really that different than what, you know, these FMV games are doing, just switching from video. Like actually, Night Trap and Sewer Shark both started off as VHS games for a product that was going to be called the Nemo. And basically it was going to be a VHS style system. It was going to be more advanced than a lot of those other cheaper ones that came out. Because a lot of those other ones are just basically like using light gun type technology to work.
Right. That's what I remember. Light gun.
This one was going to have like a control and that kind of stuff. But they had basically worked out a way to have more like video tracks like per tape side, and some system for like switching through the video very quickly. But yeah, like this game wasn't one of the ones that start off as a VHS thing, because this is like once they were already doing CD stuff.
Right.
But yeah, like Night Trap and Sewer Shark were filmed and produced before the Sega CD was even like a thought in anybody's mind. Sewer Shark was like done like in the 80s.
Nice. Like I've noticed on in the Switch store, there's actually a few, I don't know, they don't call them FMVs, but they're like movies that you can control. I've never really gotten around to checking them out though, but it reminds me of like...
No, I mean, they're FMV games for the most part, you know. I mean, to me, any game that's like relying mostly on full motion video for its content, I consider an FMV game.
But it doesn't have the charm of the of these graphics and the Sega Genesis sound chip.
Yeah, and the acting in this is like they have like a pimp.
Oh, I've seen it, yeah.
Who for some reason is a bookie also. It's a guy dressed like a pimp, but he's a bookie. He's just like running bets, but he's only like, betting $1. Like, remember, he's like, I'll bet everybody here $1 that so-and-so is going to win. It's like $1?
Yeah. That's funny. Dang it.
You know, you know whose favorite game this actually is?
Who?
Somebody we know, Sasha. Do you know why?
Why?
Because of the respect meter. As you know, you have to put respect on his face. Nobody's going to get that except for like you, me, and maybe one other person.
Yeah. Well, I hope it was worth it. But I think everyone...
I tried finding the song just to like play it. So anyways, you beat the 4 opponents, or you get 1 billion points, however you choose to do it. You watch a bunch of dumb cutscenes where people are reacting to you. Some of the cutscenes are funny. Like there's a guy who's like constantly trying to hit on a girl who later tries to hit on the blonde girl, it seems like. And she's like, oh, I'm engaged to Ace, apparently, to you, which is like, because at the end of the game, she wants to go celebrate with you when you get your contract. So you beat all 4 opponents, or you get 1 billion points, whatever. And suddenly, like, this guy offers you a contract, the guy from Star Trek. And Scottie Pippen shows up, and they do like this long panning shot of him walking, like just the camera's just on his feet as he's walking, like right on those Nike logos.
Oh, we need to find that.
And you're like thinking to yourself, oh, okay, that's kind of weird that they're concentrating on his shoes so much. And you think like that's it for the Nike advertisement. But then this guy literally opens his van, and it's just like a van full of Nike shoes. And Scottie Pippen is like, oh, now that you got a contract, you can wear Nikes like me. And they make you sign this contract for like a professional player, but they just keep talking about how great it is to like wear Nikes now.
Yeah, I wish there was a way you could like put in your own response. Like, I don't know, Scotty. Can I go check out the factory to make sure the people making the shoes actually have good working conditions? And then he would just be like, oh, man, watch me sink a 3-pointer. Like, wow.
Oh, I see we have Stry. Sorry, I see we have Stry here in the chat. I think he says, I only hit on blondes, which I think is one of the lines from one of the cutscenes. Yeah, thanks for showing up, Stry. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
But yeah, like, and actually, if you want to, I don't know if you can, Steve, fast forward to just like a little bit of that Scottie Pippen cutscene, because
sure, let's take a look.
It's towards the end.
Oh yes.
Of that video, it's probably like around the 55-minute mark.
Want to watch
the
Nike stuff?
I mean, just you can just start it from the Scottie Pippen stuff, and we can have it playing in the background. You want to just start it from Scottie Pippen?
Sounds good. What about? I mean, should we? Do you want to check out some of the other characters, or should we go back to them, or?
I mean, well, I was just thinking, 'cause I'm already talking about Scottie, but yeah, we can.
Sure, let's go to Scottie, and we'll come back. All right. So we just won. We definitely weren't watching someone else win. We did it.
Yeah, these are some of the characters from the reaction cutscenes. Right. And it's amazing how like they celebrate, and then like Scottie Pippen though, like he ends up being like super dejected.
Well, see, Scottie Pippen doesn't have any emotions. Didn't you know that?
I see.
Well, that's so awkward. What do I care about their relationship?
Yeah, I don't know why they did that, but
Hold on. Let me see if we need to fast forward a little here.
no, he's coming up. He's coming right up.
I feel like Humpty Hump and Digital Underground should be involved with this.
Here he is, the man from Star Trek. So yeah, everyone's congratulating you. I think the blonde girl has like changed into a dress or something.
That's. Let me see if I can. I want to turn this up a little. Oh shoot! It's actually him, Chicago Bulls #2 player. Listen to those steps. Ridiculous.
Oh, it's him.
I want to touch him.
Scottie Pippen.
Yeah, like
Congratulations.
I get this. It's like Jesus coming to town,
Right.
basically.
Oh,
Except-
boo.
New first night. Since yours looked a little beat down. My man Ed has something for you.
Ace, you've been dominating the course citywide. Sign this contract, Ace. You're a pro now.
Like me.
So this guy's like a scout for the NBA. I guess.
I love how he just never blinks and he looks you right in the eye.
That Scotty will.
Harold,
Right.
see you on the court.
See you on the court.
Scottie Pippen with all of the charisma of
Right.
a wet towel.
Deal is a deal. Me and you, one-on-one.
So is Scottie Pippen the Brutus the Barber Beefcake of professional basketball?
Oh yeah. Take
I don't know. I mean,
You can
his acting, he makes like Michael Jordan look like Anthony Hopkins.
Well, I don't mean in the sense of acting. It's like, Michael Jordan is Hulk Hogan and, Pippen is a number 2,
I mean, you can't say like I would say Pippen's more like Randy Savage.
Yes.
Not
All right.
Bruce
Yeah, that's
Beefcake.
much better. Yeah.
I mean, Pippen was awesome. I mean, Pippen would have been like the number 1 guy on any other
Right.
team in the league.
Oh, yeah. There's no argument here.
He just happened to be on a team with the greatest basketball player
Yeah.
of all
Oh,
time.
yeah. I was. I actually watched that documentary that came out. Should we?
The Last Dance.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was fairly interesting. I mostly watched it for.
Unstoppable. And tonight we celebrate.
For the dancing.
No, watched it because Sandy wanted to. They really love basketball in the Philippines. Look at him, he's all sad.
He's all sad.
And how Mad Dog.
And then Mad Dog says, "How could you do us like this?" Like when?
I know.
Be-
It makes no
Like-
sense. All right.
Yeah. I will say though, like it's weird how like Scottie Pippen is like the easiest guy in the game, pretty much.
Well, he's an easygoing guy, Yahel.
Oh yeah, that must be what it is. I do have some additional information about the shooting of this.
Please, enlighten us.
This game was filmed over just 7 days.
Oh, couldn't tell.
And Scottie Pippen was only there for 2 of those days.
Could see that.
So that probably explains why he's easy to beat, because there's not a lot of footage of him. So like you don't have to like get as many points to beat Scottie Pippen. I also noticed that everybody else, the other 4 opponents, whenever they get a shot clock violation, which is often, they like cut to a cutscene of them being like just befuddled that it happened. Like what is
You
time?
better check your watch.
Yeah. But Scottie Pippen, anytime there's a shot clock violation, like a class act he wants everybody to think he is, he just says okay and gives you the ball. Like there's no cutscene of him like throwing a fit.
Just make sure you say no to drugs. Always do your homework.
But yeah, I think out of the basketball players themselves, Juice, she ends up playing, or maybe at this point she already had played for for some college, and then she went on to play professionally in the women's league at the time. This is like pre-WNBA.
Right.
Then Mad Dog, he actually has a few other credits where he like did some writing and directing, and was an actor in a few of the shows. The guy that plays Ace, he ended up being used in like basically every basketball movie ever after this. He's in Blue Chips. He's in that dog basketball movie. Air Bud, I think, or whatever.
Golden Receiver. Well, that's the football one. So, yeah.
But yeah, he actually was kind of like Hollywood's go-to guy, like whenever they need some basketball stuff.
We might have to do an Air Bud movie one of these days.
I've never seen them, any of them. I don't think that they're going to be good.
No, I don't think so either. That's why we need to do it. All right.
But yeah, I love the set that with though. I think it's like perfect for the like man, it's so 90s.
Yes.
But it's like pretty well put together. It's huge too, which I like.
Yeah. I mean, it's not street ball. I mean, but I could see why they wouldn't want to shoot outside. You know, you got a lot of variables there with the weather and everything. I mean,
I read about that. So you're pretty much on track. They built the set because they wanted to, because they were only going to film for 7 days.
Right.
They were going to basically film all day and night. So they wanted something where they could control the lighting at all times.
Sure, that makes perfect sense. Wow. Maybe this was less fun to shoot than I thought if they were shooting all day and all night. I mean, maybe they had like one guy come in for 12 hours, then swap him out. It's like, Smash, you're up. Now it's your turn, Mad Dog. While the crew's over there like dying, but whatever. That's how it rolls. That's the life they chose.
I mean, that kind of is, that kind of is how they did it. The only person that had to be there for everybody's shoot was Ace for some reason.
Right.
Even though like he's obviously green screened in, you know. But they wanted him there for everybody's shoots. I guess maybe if they decided, let's do a reaction shot with you, and he does film stuff with all of the people, like too.
We want to get your natural reaction to having a 3 shot in front of your face by a white guy.
Some of the shots you take in this game, you're basically doing like 3-pointers from like half court.
Oh, I've seen. Yeah, that's right. And I mean, not to mention the like ridiculous, I don't know, flying slam dunks where you're basically like Supermaning through the air. Like,
And like basically, like if somebody was to slam dunk like that, they would land on their neck.
Sure. Oh yeah, they'd be dead. Get that weak stuff out of there.
But what did you think overall of your playthrough experience? Like if young Steven had gotten this game in 1994, would Steven, the at the time basketball fanatic, have enjoyed it?
I'd say, I mean, it'd probably go the way it is now. I would give it an honest shot, and then, you know, when I realized that I kind of didn't know what I was doing and had to read a 7-page manual, I probably would have moved on to something else with like shooting, probably. I mean, I don't know, when it comes to video games, I just not really into sports games. So yeah, I mean, I'd pick it up, play with it a little bit, and then probably never play it again, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest problem with this game, is that there's no replay value in it, really. Which is kind of like the issue with FMV games in general. It's very rare that you get a game with a lot of replay value that's an FMV game. Well, there's some. I think Thunder in Paradise, because there's so many different cutscenes and there's a few different endings, you know, that has some replay value. But this, it's going to be the same thing every time.
Like, I remember the first Sega CD game I ever actually played was Sewer Shark. And it took me a while to realize that, you know, you had to like go down the right tunnel or whatever. So they were trying to impose, I guess, replay value. I mean, what do you think? I mean, it's kind of off topic, but what do you even think about Sewer Shark?
I mean, I liked it when it came out. I thought it was like, you know, real neat or whatever, you know, because it was like a novelty. And that was the first Sega CD game I played.
Oh, wow. Brothers. Sewer Shark Brothers.
Jesus Christ. It was, you know, the pack-in game for a while, too. So for the Sega CD. But, yeah, I mean, I liked it. I played it again a few years ago, and It's okay. I mean, you just have to know where to go, basically.
Right.
So it's not like super difficult, especially in this day and age where you can just kind of pull it up. But I will say I'm very impressed though with the video, how it switches so seamlessly from tunnel to tunnel.
Right.
In Sewer Shark. And even this game, because the Sega CD was a single speed CD-ROM, which is like nothing,
Right.
you know, and still switches video like really fast. You know, the game doesn't like slow down to load or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think, FMV should still be, like, I was disappointed after Resident Evil 1 when they moved to like polygons. I mean, for some games I'd say it works for them, but like Resident Evil is a zombie movie. You know, you're supposed to have bad acting in it. And I loved the horrible acting in Resident Evil 1.
The terrible voice acting, yeah.
No, they had actual FMV in Resident Evil 1.
Oh yeah. Wasn't it like in black and white or something?
No. I mean, it looked like this, basically, slightly better. I mean, there was still lots of games that, though FMV wasn't their main thing, they still had like cutscenes and stuff. I remember
like cutscenes.
Yeah, I remember I played a Command and Conquer on PlayStation, and it had FMV stuff, and it just
it had a lot of.
It makes it so much better. But I don't know. I guess the industry decided they wanted everything to be, polygons and CGI and stuff, which is understandable.
When you were first lamenting Resident Evil going to polygons, you said polygons like polygons, like an old man who had just heard of it.
Polygons? No. Well, all right. That was a mistake, a slip of the tongue. But they're polygons. I just thought of old man Homer yelling, the clouds or whatever. These polygons! Lousy polygons! I miss the FMV days when men were men and dithering was dithering.
Back when a man knew how to dither a woman.
Now that's a t-shirt there. All right, let's just jump to the last character we haven't seen, which is Juice. Look at that. They're so into diversity here. They have a female basketball player, and here she comes.
I wouldn't say they're that into diversity if there's only one female.
No, very diverse for the time, Yahel, for the time.
Oh man, I think this is like the bare minimum for the time.
No, you're right.
But I mean, honestly, they've got a pretty good cast of characters in general. Though I think I think everybody's like well cast. You know what I mean? Like you don't think like, oh, here's the token, white guy basketball player, or here's the token anything. Like everybody like seems like they cast them based on like, what their skill set was. I mean, Smash is probably like the least interesting one, but he's also super tall, and I think he's supposed to be the hardest player.
Right. Well,
so that kind of makes
obviously
sense.
You had to be able to play basketball first. Like if I'm writing the the casting notice for everyone in Hollywood, like Tom Zito's Studios is searching for like number one, ability to play basketball, but then also, the ability to like ham it up to like an almost cartoon level.
Yeah. I think the ability to act is like 10th on their list.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. The ability to like make a latte or something. That's like number 4.
The ability to work for 16 hours a day for little to no pay.
Yeah, well, that's still a very used requirement out here in Hollywood. Yes.
Oh, I'm flying like I'm leaving the box on the stream.
Oh yeah, that's been. Where you going, Yahel?
Maybe was it because I waved my hands around?
Yeah, well, when you ran your fingers through your hair last time, that's what happened. Oh man,
OBS can't handle the power
me
of
and my computer are
mane.
going to be spending a lot of time together after this is done. There's going to be a lot of dithering involved.
That's just what I was gonna Yeah, like I feel like Juice might be the either her or Smash are the worst actors. Like she seems very uncomfortable delivering. But then again, would you be comfortable saying, "I'm gonna drink you like milk," and like that's supposed to be like some kind of insult?
Oh, I would love to say some crappy dialogue like that, but that's you and I are different.
Actually, maybe you're not a good example,
right.
Steve. You and I are not a good examples because we're like hammy, idiots.
Right.
But if you're like someone that's not an actor,
Sure.
you know, and all you do is play basketball and you're brought in to do this.
Right.
So yeah, she seems not
It's
so.
like it's like an AEW wrestler trying to do a promo.
Oh man, I don't know. I think most of them do pretty decent.
I mean, I think there's like a, I don't know. It's like there's like 5 guys who are like always on the mic, and then others like hardly even get. They're just like, you don't need to say anything. You just go in there and do your little flip-de-doos. Anyway.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of flip-de-doos in this
I
game.
know.
A lot of flipping dunks. You know, like basically Ace, from my calculation, Steve, I believe he has a vertical leap of 32 feet.
Yeah, that Ace is amazing.
Yeah.
All right, let's skip ahead a bit.
Hey, man, I can't even see a shot clock.
Excuses, Juice. Come on, you're better than that. We'll just go to the end of Juice. How about that? I mean, does that get cool to you?
Yeah, sounds good.
You sounded dead.
I don't know why I
You
said it
sound
like that.
dead inside. You're like, I'm sick of this racket.
For anybody who's interested, though, in learning more about, you know, the behind the scenes of this game, or just the digital pictures of FMV games like Sewer Shark and all that, there is a 20-minute behind the scenes look, kind of a mini documentary that Digital Pictures themselves made way back in the 90s. It was like an extra that came with some game. I can't remember. But yeah, just look it up. Digital Pictures behind the scenes, something like that, and it'll come up. And yeah, it's really interesting. They like show, you know, they have some interviews. There's some clips from this game being filmed behind the scenes. Steve, but what is happening to me? You are
Just don't even say anything.
drinking me like milk and OBS.
But also, you'll definitely want to check out one of Yahel's videos on the Wrestling with Gaming YouTube site, where you basically did like a documentary about Tom Zito and Digital Pictures, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's a pretty interesting video. I've got lots of clips from like an audio interview he did too, to help add some context. It explains like the history of where these games came from. It's actually a pretty fascinating story. But also, if you want to only learn about Slam City, there's a video by the channel Genovi, Jenovi. It's about a 10-minute video covering Slam City, the history behind it, like the making of it, some behind the scenes tidbits. And yeah, I really recommend it. It's a really well done video.
The opposite of this live stream.
Yeah.
Well, all right. It's time to decide whether Slam City with Scottie Pippen should be remembered until the end of time, or if it should be tossed into the black pit of obscurity, never to be heard from again.
Remembered or obliterated? That is the question.
You want me to go first, or
Yeah. Why don't you go? Well, you went first last time. I'll go ahead and go. I'm all for the preservation of FMV, but when you get right down to it, as a game, it's not really that fun and kind of forgettable. As we said in the live stream, you could maybe play through it once and then never again. So I'm gonna have to say probably toss it into the black hole of obscurity.
yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. And I like FMV games. The problem with this one is almost like there's not enough of the bad, cheesy cutscenes thrown at you.
Right.
And there are like, and it's weird because there are a lot of like cutscene segments, but you see a lot of the same cutscenes over and over again. And I think they probably would have liked to have thrown in more of them, but they obviously don't have that many.
Right.
Since you end up seeing, you know, quite a few repeats. So, yeah, I would have to say it's not a game I can recommend to somebody. Maybe I could say, hey, look up a video just showing the cutscenes or something. But
right, you could.
Yeah, unless you're a diehard Sega fanatic or a diehard Pippen head. Is that what they call them,
A
Steve?
piphead is what they're called. I don't
Yeah, Pippen. I feel like that's like a racist slang in some country. Pippen. I don't like that. I don't feel good about that, Steve.
Too late. What's done is done. And what's also done is this podcast, I would say. So all in all, this one's tossed into the black hole of obscurity. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
The heathens have spoken. You are obliterated.
Well, how's the video going that you've been working on?
Pretty good. I'm editing the last page of it. It's taken a long time because unfortunately some of these 3D scenes have taken a long time to render. I did one last night that was only 535 frames, and yet it took 8 hours to render.
Wow.
So,
You usually get the lawnmower man to help you with that stuff.
I've got a pretty high-end computer and GPU, but unfortunately, these scenes are so complex. They're as complicated as a Scottie Pippen rap.
Yeah, I wonder if he ever did any other. Let's check this out. Let's see if we can.
Yeah, he has an album.
Yeah, the one where he swears profusely and tells kids.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, you're making me think of when MC Hammer did a gangster rap album.
I remember that when he was just Hammer.
Yeah. Hammer, do hurt him.
That was just when he was desperate for money and to be relevant again.
Yep.
Oh, well, I think that is going to do it for Obscurity now. Oh, I forgot. There's some stuff that I worked on. There are 2 new Tim's Toy Box videos edited and produced by me. One where he takes a look at, he got himself a hold of Snake Mountain, Skeletor's playset, or an original one. And that was pretty cool. And before that, he got himself...
Damn, I used to have that as a kid.
Yeah, because you were spoiled rotten, you were.
Yeah, we were the... My dad was the king of Puerto Rico.
I didn't know you guys had a king. That's so interesting.
Yeah, it was my dad.
King Velazquez. It's got a good ring to it. And then in the other one, he got himself a couple of Street Sharks. They're totally jawsome.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, there'll be links in the description for Tim and Yahel's channel, so you guys can check out more about Tim Zito. What's his name? Tom Zito.
Tom Zito,
right?
Sir. Please put some respect on his name. He's a visionary, a filmmaker, an auteur.
Right. He's the Stanley Kubrick of FMV. I mean, you can't really say that otherwise. Anyways,
he got fired from a company by Bushnell, Nolan Bushnell, the guy that created Atari.
Oh, nice. I wish I could put that on my resume.
He's still pissed about it. It's great.
Fired by Shigeru Miyamoto. That's what I want to put on my resume.
Yeah. I normally don't push my videos, Steve, but everybody should check out my video just to listen to what Tom Zito sounds like. He sounds like he has the voice of like Kermit, being like just having his neck kind of squeezed lightly. But very unique voice.
Well, just hearing that description was pretty hilarious. So anyway, make sure you like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Share.
God bless you.
Either way, if you're watching it on YouTube, Twitch, or via podcasts, because we could always use a few more listens. Otherwise, we will see you next Sunday, at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, only on Obscurity Now.
You've been enjoying Obscurity Now, a podcast that's recorded live to tape and broadcast to Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. Take us with you by following the download links provided in the show notes. And take notice of our various social media links if that's what you're into. I'm not here to judge. And make sure you join us live next week at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific as we continue to discuss more obscure media only on Obscurity Now.